Copy link. Okay, I'm gonna try to share it again, and then I don't know what's going on with YouTube today. One sec, guys. Okay, I think it's working finally. I think I was able to share it. So I'm gonna jump right into it so that anyone who's maybe rewatching the live isn't bored to death. So I will do a brief intro here. I think I've got sunscreen on my camera. What else is new? There we go, that's a little bit better here. Okay, so I'm gonna be chatting about my skincare products that I've used up. I also had the reason on my skin, I have eyebrows on and lashes, but the rest of my face is bare, just in case we have some time at the end to try some products. I have this little Osmosis PDRN serum that has a little applicator that I want to try out at the end if we have time. And then someone had also asked about the Valve, which of course I left charging 6 feet away. So maybe we'll grab it if we reach the end and if we have time. But otherwise, I'm gonna jump right into it. We also have a couple of questions too at the end. So I will kind of get into the empties here. Hopefully you guys see this. I had some technical issues. I was trying to share the live and then it ended. So hopefully you guys are able to kind of find it as we go along here. Do I have my water? Oh, yes, I have my water. Okay, so skincare products that I have used up, and a lot of these are, I don't know what's up with my hair today. I tried to kind of pin it out of the way in case we tested the products, but it's kind of a mess anyway. I'm trying to think of, maybe I'll start with like cleansers, just so there's a little bit of sense here. So I have 2 cleansers to chat about that I've used up. Hi Monica, welcome. Okay, I'm glad you guys were able to find it. Hopefully others will see it despite the technical issues. It's been kind of a slow morning, and then it could shut down on me, so sorry about that. Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. Okay, cleanser options, and if anyone misses it, they can always rewatch it back, so I'm just gonna jump into it. Okay, I used up the Klairs Gentle Black Cleansing Oil. You can see there's like a drip left. I use every little bit. I actually don't double cleanse a whole lot, just because I don't wear that much makeup, and I've been using some more like chemical type sunscreen, so I only double cleanse if I have like a full face or if I'm using like a water resistant or mineral sunscreen. But I did use this all up. This is a good cleanser if you are, I think, normal to dry. It does a decent job of breaking down makeup, but I think if you wear very heavy makeup, like full glam, or if you're maybe a little bit more oily, I would probably get the Kose Softimo Speedy Cleansing Oil that I talk about all the time. It should be in my Amazon store, just because that one like really breaks down makeup. This is nice, you know, it has a nice texture. It's a slightly thinner. So again, if you like a thicker oil, this might not be for you, but it's a nice one, and I like it for my normal to dry skin. This cleanser is, hi Lucy, welcome, happy Wednesday. I'm glad you guys are starting to find it. YouTube lives are the absolute worst. Like I never have any issues with the Facebook ones. I've kind of gotten the hang of them, and then Instagram is really straightforward. Every time I try to do a YouTube one, there's some kind of technical issue. Like it kept shutting down on me this morning when I was trying to start. So thanks for you guys for hanging in with me and joining me on this one. As I just mentioned, the only thing I think anyone has missed is I mentioned that I used up the Dear Klairs Gentle Cleansing Oil. Good for, like, I would say minimal to medium makeup, or if you wear a mineral or water resistant sunscreen. Good for like normal to dry skin. The Gentle Black Cleansing Oil, and once the live ends, I will add them all to the description box. Okay, this poor bottle is so abused. This is the Sioris Cleanse Me Softly. The pump broke off, and you can see by how empty this is, I unscrewed it and used like every last drop of this because I do like this. This is a good morning cleanser. It reminds me a little bit of like the CeraVe Hydrating or the Stratia Velvet Cleansing Milk, but it's like even gentler. And it has a slightly nicer texture than the CeraVe. So very good morning cleanser, or if you're super dry, if you're super sensitive, just non-foaming, low pH, very gentle cream cleanser. The Sioris Cleanse Me Softly here. I've been liking a lot of Sioris products, by the way. So those are my 2 cleanser picks. Do I have any sunscreen? Yes, I actually do have a couple, so I guess we'll move into sunscreen. I'll try to kind of keep things, I probably won't be in the order of like what you apply on your face. My hair is always a mess. But I'll try to kind of keep the products together, if that makes sense. So I did use up the Hero Force Shield. Why is it so bright? Maybe I can turn it down a little bit if that would help the lighting. It's really foggy. Maybe that's a little bit better. Maybe not so much. It is very foggy today outside, so the lighting is not the best. Usually we don't get a lot of fog here in Sacramento, California, but it's been super foggy. I'm kind of liking it aside from it being miserably cold. Okay, the Hero Force Shield. This is their newer sunscreen that they had released. I purchased it myself. I purchased, I think, everything here myself. If there was anything I did not purchase, I'll make sure to mention it. This is a mineral sunscreen. It's an SPF 30. It has a slight, let me see if there's like a little bit left that I can squeeze out here. Yeah, there's a tiny little drop left here. So you can see it has a green tint. So this is nice if you have redness. It has like a lotion texture, and it's one of the nicer mineral sunscreens that I've tried. It does not leave a cast on me, but again, I'm fairly light, so if you have a deep skin tone, I'm not sure on a cast. This has been good for like running errands. Like the reason I've used this up is because usually a mineral sunscreen takes a lot of time to kind of work in. I don't have that experience with this. It is an SPF 30, so I'm not using it, you know, if I'm outside all day or something, but this is perfect if I'm like running my son to school really quick, or I'm running to the grocery store and I just want to get some sun protection on. And it, you know, it's moisturizing enough where, you know, it can double as a moisturizer, not for the full day, but again, for like as running errands and stuff. So I think this is like 16 bucks. Hi, welcome, happy Wednesday. Thanks for hanging out with me and dealing with the technical stuff. Thanks for joining. You know, this is, I think, probably the best affordable mineral sunscreen option that I've tried. I think they did a good job with this. I wish I could, I know it's like kind of washed out, so maybe if I should I turn it down a little bit more? No, I don't think it's gonna make a difference, unfortunately. Yeah, nope. Well, I'll put them all in the description box. The other sunscreen product that I used up is the Skin Aqua Super Moisture Milk. I don't think there's anything left with this one. No. Oh, there we go. Okay. So this has a little ball in that. And this one is, I believe it does have some zinc, so it's a combination sunscreen. This one does have some slip to it. So it's pretty moisturizing. It's not going to be for you if you have oily skin, but it still has a really nice light texture. It has great protection. This is an awesome daily sunscreen, the Skin Aqua. It should be the Moisture Milk. They have a bunch, so make sure it's in the blue packaging, not the pink, because that one's like a brightening formula. This one, Ginger in the Facebook group recommended it to me. I've liked other Skin Aqua sunscreens, so I wasn't surprised that this was really awesome, but it was a great recommendation, and I will definitely, you guys, I'm three products in and I forgot to say whether I'm gonna repurchase or not. The Klairs, I'm not gonna repurchase, not because it's not good, but just because I wanna try some other cleansing oil options. The Sioris Cleanse Me Softly, I will repurchase. It's a great cleanser. The only reason I haven't already is because I'm using the Stratia Velvet Milk Cleanser, but I will repurchase this one. It's great for the morning. Might not be enough cleansing power for PM, but it's a wonderful morning cleanser, or if you weren't wearing, maybe you were home all day or something, great product. The Hero Force Shield, I would repurchase this, but not in the winter time. I'm needing something a little bit more moisturizing for winter, but I would reach for this. Maybe in the summer, or if you're not as dry as I am, but just not right now due to the season. And then this guy, yes, I am going to repurchase it. I do want to work through some of my other Japanese sunscreens first, but I will be repurchasing. Okay, let me catch up, sorry here. Susan said, what was the gentle morning type cleanser you mentioned? Okay, so this is the Cleanse Me Softly from Sioris. It is a K-Beauty product. It should be on Amazon, it should be on Yes Style. I believe it's in the $20 range. It's nothing super expensive, but I would shop around for the best deal. The benefit of K-Beauty is you can get some deals if there's just different prices due to all the different retailers I've found. So it was a decent, I forget what, it just varies so much with K-Beauty, but it should be in the $20 range. It's pretty inexpensive. Their Essner costs a little bit more versus their cleansers. Okay, and she mentioned lotion. Yeah, anything I mention will not be a soap because I don't use any soaps on my face. It's gonna be low pH, gentle surfactants. This is a very gentle one. And then, hi Paulina, welcome. Okay, so we mentioned, I think the only other sunscreen that I used was actually a little mini sample here. This one is from ISDIN. There's nothing left in here, so I'm not going to try to get anything out. I have the full size of both the tinted and the regular version. I just kind of like to have a mini like this to use in my purse. And the ISDIN sunscreens are really beautiful. This is fully mineral. I do prefer this untinted version, which is why I keep it kind of in my purse and stuff, versus like the tinted one, just because the tinted ISDIN formula is a little bit more mattifying, even though it does have the iron oxides. For those of you guys who don't know, there's some research indicating that if you have skin of color or if you have melasma, using a product with iron oxides can help prevent relapse of hyperpigmentation, just because it helps with blue light from the sun, not from your devices. That's not a concern. You can get the Sioris at Olali, fast shipping. I do find that the Olali can be a little bit more expensive if you compare to YesStyle or Amazon. So just, just price check a little bit and make sure. I know that a lot of people do like Olali, but sometimes it can be a little bit pricier, I've noticed. But, just check. If it's the same price, then, by all means. Oh, or take advantage. She was mentioning that they have sales a lot, so that would be another good option, is to wait for a sale. Okay, the last thing I'll say with the ISDIN is it has a similar texture to the Skin Aqua, in that it's like a milky, like fluid texture. The ISDIN is a little bit more moisturizing and gives you a little bit more glow, and it has those DNA repair enzymes. I wouldn't say it's a substitute for like a DNA repair enzyme serum that has several of them. But the research does indicate that in a sunscreen formula can better protect against UV damage. So again, I have the mini that I used up. I still have some of the full sizes that I'm working through. They're a good product. They are mineral though. So sometimes if I'm in a hurry, I will reach for like a Japanese option just because they're so cosmetically elegant. They're so nice to use. Okay, what category? Oh, I guess I actually did use up the Neova DNA Repair Serum here. It took me a surprisingly long time because I use a single pump at nighttime. This has like a cream serum texture. It has some other nice ingredients, but mainly it's for the DNA repair. I started testing DNA repair enzymes in November of last year, so it's been over a year now. I do need to do a freaking deep dive on the blog. I've been promising you guys forever. It's just been super short on time. It's my son's rats, if you hear crawling. It's like an animal, it's like a barn in my house right now between all my son's pets. So I will do a deep dive on the topic. I have my son, full-time with me, so sometimes I'm just there's not enough hours in the day. Please link this again. Yes, I will add everything to the description box. And I think it's already in my Amazon store, but it might be cheaper on YesStyle, so I will double check for you guys. So yes, I use this up. I will note that in the study that Neova did, they used it twice a day for, I want to say like 3 months. So if you have visible sun damage or you have a history of skin cancer, or maybe it runs in your family, I would recommend using it the twice a day, at least for those 3 months, and then maybe you could do like once a day for maintenance, just if you want to replicate the results of their study. There is independent studies on DNA repair. The reason I like the Neova is they've done their own additional research in addition to that. I don't think brand-funded research is enough alone, but I think it's nice in addition to that. The other thing is they have the 3 different DNA repair enzymes. It's encapsulated. That's really important. You need to get the DNA repair enzymes into the living epidermis, past the skin barrier, in order for it to be helpful. And this is more affordable than the Priori, I think that's how you say it, or the Photozyme. Those were the 2 other options I looked at initially, but this was the better price point. Let me see, I think I missed one from Shakira. To use the Sioris on days that use microcurrent. Yeah, for microcurrent, I do tend to use a gel cleanser like the Geek Gorgeous or the Aromatica. If you're gonna remove it really thoroughly, or you're gonna follow up with like maybe an exfoliating step, it could be fine, but because it's non-foaming and it's a cream, there could be a little bit of residue. So it's a good precaution to use a gel for microcurrent or radio frequency and stuff. Okay, so I guess I think I used up a couple mists. I'm a big fan of facial mists, you guys. I literally mist them in between each skincare step because I have very thirsty skin that really like soaks up any water-based steps. You don't have to use a mist, right? You can also use like the ultrasonic steamer that I showed the other day. It's like a cheap alternative to a mist. So I used up the Hyggee all-in-one mist. anything with a birch juice, my skin really likes. I just find it's basically just a hydrating step. So I've used like the Ampoule glycolic acid cream has birch juice, the Neogen essence, the Neova birch toner that I've been using and loving recently. Anything with birch juice, I'm a fan. I will say this is the Hyggee mist. I have used the One Step Essence. I prefer that one a little bit more, though it's more for dry skin. This one just wasn't quite as hydrating and moisturizing as the One Step Balance Essence from them, but it was still a nice product. I would only get this if it was on sale. I think it's like 20 bucks normally, so if it was on sale 10 to 15, I think it's worth it. But just because you get a small amount and it wasn't like mind-blowing, I probably would only repurchase. See, I already forgot to do the freaking repurchase already. Yes, I would repurchase the Neova because I think it's my favorite formula for the best price. Okay, remind me, you guys, if I forget to do the will I repurchase. This I will not repurchase unless I see it on sale, just because I think that there are better mists. I do love the R&W Ceramide mist, obsessed. I've also used multiple bottles of the Mieux mist. So I have the silver one here, which is unfortunately, I think, just for professionals. So I love to use this with microcurrent or post-treatment, where I use the regular... I already dropped something. You know how... Has there ever been a live where I did not drop something? Probably not. Okay. Fix my darn hair here. So the silver I think is professional only, but I love the Isocell, the regular version, just as much. So this is the mini size that you can keep in your purse, or I just find the smaller size handy because I have the big bottles, so I'll just refill this guy. So I use this daily. I like that it is it's gonna be very like friendly. Is that the word I'm using for? I probably need more coffee. I did not sleep well last night. This has added minerals, so if you're using it with radio frequency, EMS, microcurrent, it's not going to interfere with that. It's also really great for like sensitive and compromised skin or post-treatment. So I use a ton of this. I have the big bottles thanks to a really dear friend of mine who gets it, you know, she gets the professional kind of discount and has the options for the bigger bottles. So I have used, gosh, I've used like 4 of the big size bottles. I love this mist. And I do think the silver is really good. I would say I'd probably pick the regular one anyway if I had to pick, 'cause it's a little bit more hydrating. So both of these are awesome. This one, of course, I used up, and then I have a bunch of the big bottles, so I will continue to repurchase the regular one, and I really appreciate my friend who sends the silver ones over because it's a nice one too. Okay, one more mist, the Neogenesis Moisturizing Mist. I bought this during the Skin Beautiful RX sale, and not the recent one, the one before that. So I think it's normally 22 or something, and I think it ended up being like 18 bucks with the sale, or maybe I'm not remember. It was really affordable with the sales. Normally the Neogenesis products are pretty spendy, like their growth factor serum is really pricey, which I don't think is necessarily worth it when I compare to other options. Like I think if you're gonna splurge, you should get the anti-age, right? But this actually does have the growth factors, it has the adipose stem cell conditioned media, it has sodium PCA, which is a great humectant. It's naturally occurring in the skin. I really enjoy sodium PCA. So this is a nice mist. You know, I think if you can pick it up on sale and maybe you can't afford like a pricier growth factor, it's a nice way. It's not gonna have a super high concentration of growth factor as compared to their serum or even like the Bradceuticals, like this is 60%. But you still, it's a really affordable way to get the stem cell conditioned media at a low price point. And you get a bunch of humectants in here like glycerin, the sodium PCA, etc. So I would pick this up on sale. I would say this does have a little bit of the lemon essential oil, which I notice a lot of professional growth factor options have that. This did not bother me. The Osmosis it irritated my neck really bad. I think the concentration is low enough in this one that it wasn't an issue, but just watch out for that in case you're super sensitive. So that should be all of the mists. That we'll move into like toner type serum products I used up here. Make sure I kind of separate them all out here. So I did use up the Manyo Bifida pads. You can see I don't have none left in here. They're like 18 bucks, and then a lot of times you can get them 30% off, so they work out to be really affordably. You know, I picked these up originally because I wanted to use them as like a cheap sheet mask, basically. You can take the pads, you can cut them and kind of put them on your forehead, under your eyes, and then just pop a silicone mask cover on top. And it's just a really affordable way to do like a little mini sheet mask treatment. However, I started reaching for them a lot because they're really nice if, like, maybe you're at home, like if I'm at home doing editing or working on blog content or other like actual work stuff. Sometimes I won't like do like a full skincare routine, you know, I will just, you know, do some vitamin C and maybe like a moisturizer or something like that. And then later at night, like I'll want to kind of just wipe that off or I'll rinse or something. I find that these are a nice, like not a cleansing step, just kind of a way to refresh the skin before doing a routine if you don't need to actually cleanse. Or like if I've done the Neova radio frequency and I've rinsed off the gel, then I'll go in with these guys. They're really moisturizing and hydrating and really soothing. It has the Bifida and some nice humectants in here. So I wasn't expecting to like this as much as I did. They're just so handy. I've even used them on my son, like if he hates getting his face wet. So I'll even use these really quick, you know, just before we like do a little bit of moisturizer or something. So I do like, these are the Manufactory Bifida Biome. The whole Bifida line from Manufactory is really great. They have a serum, which is kind of a dupe for the Estee Lauder Night Repair. They have a toner. It's all, I don't think you can go wrong with any of it. I will likely repurchase these again the next time they're on sale. Because, I mean, you get 60 in here too, so it's a really good deal. Okay, moving on to serums. So pretty much done. A couple of these I'm like almost done, so I wanted to include them just to kind of get them out of the way here. So I've talked about these a million times, so I won't rehash them overly much, but I have the BePlain Bamboo Ampoule. I already bought another of these just because the ingredients are really great. So I have a little bit left in here. I already have a new bottle on the way that I got during the Amazon Prime sale. This has 2 types of bamboo, so it's a really light and refreshing. Has 5 different ceramides, cholesterol, and panthenol, allantoin, like a bunch of really great barrier-focused ingredients, but it's really light. And a lot of times ceramide products can be a little bit heavier, so I really like this. If you're oily, for example, and you want a skin barrier-focused product that's still gonna be nice and light, I would recommend this. You can also totally use it if you're dry like me and just layer. So this is the Bamboo Ampoule from BePlain. They have great products in general. They have really great sheet masks that are fragrance-free, which is hard to find. So I already repurchased this, and I will again. Next up, okay, I've already talked about this a million times as well, but it's the Beauty of Joseon Repair Serum. I have like maybe a drip left. The reason I haven't used this up is because the last little drip is because I'm actually testing the Proot one, which I'll talk about in a second here. But this is great. Ginseng, I posted about this on my Instagram stories. I think it's saved under the highlights. But the active components may potentially help with collagen formation. Oh, sorry. Hi, I missed a bunch of you guys. Sorry, guys. Hi, Cho. Oh, thank you. Cho is a wonderful friend of mine. He also has a skincare commentary type channel here on YouTube. That's awesome. And I can't wait until he does more content because I'm always double checking to see if he's done more videos. I like the Neogenesis Mist. I do wish their growth factor serums were cheaper. Yeah, they're really pricey. And I don't think it's necessarily worth it. I do like that there's nice high concentration of them in the regular serum. But it's the adipose and fibroblast type that you can find in Osmosis and other options. I think you should just splurge on the ANH if you're gonna splurge and get that bone marrow type. Hi Heidi, welcome. Oh, you bought the Beauty of Joseon Repair. Yeah, this is awesome. I did that post. Basically, potentially the active components in ginseng may help with collagen formation on top of being antioxidant, anti-inflammatory. All of the Beauty of Joseon products are great. I've used them for years, but I stopped using the moisturizer just because it has fragrance. So I was really excited that all their new launches are fragrance free. I have the Beauty of Joseon Bubble Toner, which is a really nice hydrating, gentle exfoliation option. It's only like 3% glycolic or something like that. I also like the skin-tertainment aspect of putting like a bubble product on your face is really interesting. The calming serum from the same release is great for if you are oily. It says that green tea. It's also great if you do like red light therapy. So again, this is great. I would totally repurchase it in the future. The only reason I didn't is because I'm testing the Proot version. They're both ginseng-based serums. One of you guys in the Facebook group asked me for a comparison, so that's the only reason I haven't repurchased it. Plus, I'm also testing the Deep Glow serum from this release, which is rice and niacinamide. So I'm testing other Beauty of Joseon serums, just not the repair right now. So speaking of which, I always get my mouth. There we go. Speaking of which, I'm testing the Proot version because one of you guys asked me. This one is a little bit more moisturizing and a little bit stickier. So if you don't like that type of thing, I would stick with the repair. I will say that this has probably the likely reason for that is this has the extract versus the ginseng water, so that's why it's gonna be a little bit heavier. Also has some added growth factors though, which I am really liking. So far I like them both. I don't think you can go wrong, but I do like the added growth factors, and this one's a little more moisturizing for my dry skin, but I'm not really overly bothered by stickiness, and some people are. Heidi said, I also bought the Ceramide mist you recommended. Oh, good, that's that one. I love that one. I'm down to like my last like quarter of it. It's gonna be in my future empties here. So you can use it in different ways, right? You could use it as like a first step just to kind of get your skin damp before you do any other skincare, like a essence, for example, like a first essence. I tend to kind of just mist it in between my skincare steps because again, I have very dry, dehydrated skin. It is up to you. I would use either use it at the start of your routine or in between your layers, whatever works best for you. I know not everyone mists as excessively as I do. Okay, so I used those guys up. Okay, I've got a couple more serums here. And then I have a retinoid and a moisturizer, and then we're a little over halfway done. Okay, so serums that I used up would be the Ausceuticals Rehydrate Serum. This is great. It is pretty moisturizing. It can be a little bit sticky if you are oily, so I would avoid. It has a ton of ceramides in here and other barrier-focused ingredients, so it's a very moisturizing serum. I use this up. I would repurchase in the future if I placed an Ausceuticals order because I like their vitamin C. I also have their niacinamide serum, which is great. They tend to be very concentrated products, so if you don't like any kind of stickiness, they might not be for you, just because when you have a lot of active ingredients in one formula, you're just more likely to have a little bit of stickiness, if that makes sense. I just apply on really damp skin and I finish with moisturizer and it's not an issue. The only reason I'm just gonna wait until I do a future Ausceuticals order is because I'm using the R&W Ceramide Serum, which is similar, and they have a bunch of ceramides and barrier-focused ingredients. So I just don't need another one of this one while I'm testing the R&W Ceramide Serum. But this is great, and so are all the Ausceuticals products. And if you're in Australia, definitely check them out. So it sounds like the Ginseng Radiant Serum is good for cosmetic. I would do it post. This guy. It's a great option post cosmetic needling. I would probably needle like a growth factor or copper peptide into the skin during the treatment, but it's great afterwards. And then for red light therapy, it was the calming version of the Beauty of Joseon line that I would recommend for red light, just because it has that green tea, which can potentially help. I mean, technically, you know, ginseng does have those antioxidant properties, so it'd be totally fine. Maybe before, after. It depends on the texture of your retinol. Because retinols are oil soluble, usually you'll see them in like a cream, serum, or moisturizer formula. So in that case, yes, this would go first because it's water-based. Okay, some more serums here. I have used up, I'm on my third bottle of this, and I'm already almost done with that bottle. But this guy is fully used up. It is the Florence Hydration Booster. This is a small UK brand. They have a bunch of great products. I have the retinol that I really like, which is one of the very few essential oil-free retinol products on the market. It's an oil. It's great if you have dry skin or sensitive skin. I have their salicylic acid oil that I've been testing. I will update on that one. I really enjoy their cleanser, which is like it's an interesting texture. Like it kind of feels, it's like a gel that kind of melts into an oil. as you kind of apply it. What else have I tried from them? They have a good vitamin C. A Florence is excellent. Oh, you like this one, Monica? I remember you were trying it, right? You recently got it. This is such a good, I should have grabbed my other bottle. Oh, I didn't. I should have grabbed my other bottle just so I could show you the texture. It's a lighter serum texture, but it is really hydrating. It's 4% niacinamide. You have a lot of prebiotic sugars in here, so they're going to be great for the skin barrier. Polysaccharides in general tend to be great humectants. You also have saccharide isomerate, which is an ingredient that, again, it's good for the skin microbiome, but it actually also helps the moisture retention over time. A lot of humectants work in the short term, where they kind of bind and attract moisture and hydrate for that day, where the saccharide isomerate really helps with long-term hydration. So there's glycerin in here. There's some nice plant extracts, like I want to say licorice off the top of my head. Yes, licorice. No? I thought I'm positive. Okay. Yes, licorice. And then the ginkgo biloba. Okay, I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm not making that up. Great product. Just really hydrating, really nice to use. I think most skin types could benefit from this. And again, this is bottle number 2, and I'm almost done with bottle number 3 in there. Really awesome. Oh, Monica said, I love the A Florence. I should have ordered 2. Yeah, every time I buy this, I'm like, why didn't I buy like six of these? Because you go through them. The reason, actually, by the way, that reminds me, the reason I originally picked this product up, the A Florence Hydration Booster, is it has the, why have I not had more coffee? The palmittyl, see, I'm gonna have to read it. Palmittyl, okay, I was close. Palmittyl tripeptide 5, and that's the same. You'll see it listed on the ingredient deck as either palmittyl tripeptide 3 or 5. Both names are for the same peptide. Basically, they mimic TGF-beta1, which is a growth factor in the skin that triggers the formation of collagen and basically kind of tells the fibroblasts to make more collagen. So you'll see it in the Mieux TGF booster. It doesn't actually have TGF-beta1. It has this same peptide that's in here. So that's why I picked it up, because I was looking for a good dupe. I actually think this is better than the Mieux, just because it doesn't have the essential oil, and it's very hydrating and just a really nice serum. So between this and the Mieux TGF, I would get this guy. And I think the only product that actually has the actual TGF growth factor is the anti-age MD line. So it's hard to find anyway. Usually you'll see that peptide version. Okay, the other serum, do I have any other serums? Okay, let me grab the last of my serums here. Oh, okay, no, this is my full bottle. Okay, I think that's the last. Okay, then I have the, well, the other ones are technically serums too, but they're more of like retinol, creamy products. Okay, so I did use up a Baha HA. I don't use this, why is my hair bothering me so much today? I need a haircut. I just have so much hair that, like, when it starts to grow out like this, I have to pin part of it back, because otherwise I just get this poof. I have too much hair on my head. Okay, so this guy is the Baha HA. I've used a bunch of these over the years because it's just the HA. It's a high molecular weight, has a mild preservative, and just water, and that's it. So that makes it really good for microneedling. I've used this up. I'm probably not going to buy another one. Just because I've been testing a lot of the mesotherapy type products for microneedling, I am finding that I prefer them a little bit. Joe says, I need a haircut too, it's too much going on. Yeah, then you know the feeling. Like, it just gets, some people look really great as they grow their hair out, and my hair just gets out of control. What is going on? I always take my son too to get a haircut, and by the time his haircut is done, I'm exhausted and I want to go home. Like, I don't want to have to deal with, like, wondering what he's doing while I get my hair done. So every time I'm like, I'll come next time, and then I don't. I mean, that's just part of being a parent, though. Okay, so the Baha, great product, perfectly fine for medical needling. I know sometimes there's a microneedling group that I'm on Facebook. There's like heated debate, you guys, on like topical HA versus using something actually designed for microneedling that's sterile, right? Like, people get really mad if you suggest a topical product. Personally, I think it's fine. I mean, it's not like this is full of bacteria. Even topical products, you know, have careful preservative systems, and cosmetic grade products. It's not like, you know, this is going to be pretty safe. However, you know, I do think that like a sterile microneedling product or mesotherapy product will be even safer. So this is perfectly fine. The Timeless also has a high molecular weight HA that's very similar that would work fine. I've just been using Hyaron as well as the Celasome, and I have been preferring those for microneedling, so that's why I probably won't repurchase. Heidi said, I have the Hylamide Sub-Q Serum as a daily hydrator. Can you explain what the difference is compared to some of these other hydrating options? Okay, yeah, so the Hylamide Sub-Q is a great dupe for the dermatology needleless serum, because they both have the Neodermal, which is a patented type product that has a copper, a salt, and some other ingredients. I actually prefer the Hylamide Sub-Q to the needleless, because in addition to the Neodermal, it also has the glucuronic acid, which is basically it's one of the components that your skin uses to make more hyaluronic acid in the skin. They're kind of, you have these alternating blocks. So you have the N-acetylglucosamine and the glucuronic acid, and they're alternated in the structure of hyaluronic acid in the skin. They're basically precursors, if that makes sense. And the idea is if you have more of these precursors, then your skin can potentially make more hyaluronic acid. The Sub-Q also has a bunch of nice peptides and other added humectants and different forms of HA. So it's like $22 or something, or maybe it's 20. I forget. I always buy on sale, so I never know the full price. Basically, it's a fraction of the cost of the needleless serum, and it's just a way better product. So it's great as a daily hydrator because you have all those humectants in there, and it's also helping with long-term hydration like we talked about. You know, it's going to be a little bit different because where did I put it? Oh, there it is, right in front of my nose. This guy does have niacinamide, which is going to be a little more proven for anti-aging. I wouldn't say it's a substitute for like a copper peptide, like the NCN here, just because it's a copper salt, right? And it's not quite as proven. The Neodermal is one of those like patented manufacturer. Like most of the research there is from the manufacturer, so I wouldn't say it's a substitute, but it is a really great product, and I do think it's a wonderful hydrator that has some anti-aging benefits as well. As far as comparing to like the other serums that we talked about, yeah, if you have the Sub-Q, I think that would be fine compared to the Florence. Like they're both good hydrating products. It'll kind of just depend on what you enjoy, right? Like if you prefer a nice array of humectants and peptides, you know, the Sub-Q is really great. I would say the Florence is good if you want a lot of hydration, you want a niacinamide product. Compared to like the Ausceuticals, this guy is going to has those ceramides and cholesterol. It's more focused on the skin barrier. I think I answered all of that. I love the Mieux TGF. Can you recommend a regular growth factor at a similar price? So my favorite growth factor, like slightly more on the affordable end, is the Bradceuticals. There's a lot of you'll see a lot of EGF serums, and I will talk about one in a second here that I used up and why I like it. But there's a difference between like an EGF serum and a stem cell conditioned media, which is what you see in the Neogenesis, the Osmosis, Anti-Age, Bradceuticals. The reason that that's better is that they basically take human stem cells, they culture them, and then they remove those stem cells. They're not stem cell products. And what you're left with is this like growth factor rich broth that is full of growth factors. And most of the research is there, right? All the like kind of growth factor research topically uses the stem cell conditioned media, except for like, I think there's like one or two studies on EGF, and it's not really, the quality of the study wasn't great. There's also a ton of research with that stem cell conditioned media and microneedling, so it's much more proven. The other thing too is if we kind of look at growth factors in the skin, you would never see EGF by itself. Growth factors work together. They each have like one instruction, right? They each serve one function, and they also all kind of work locally in a small area. So you need like a bunch of growth factors that serve different functions to work together. Like if you have, like if you guys microneedle at home, you're probably familiar with the wound healing cascade. Basically, like as soon as something breaches the skin barrier, the skin surface, you have the release of a cytokine called interleukin-1, and this kind of like kicks off this whole process where you have all these different growth factors that are triggered, right, through this wound healing process. So they work together, and it doesn't really make good sense just to have EGF, if that makes sense. Like just that's not how growth factors work. So that's why I'm personally a fan of those conditioned media types. Catch up here. Okay, and Lucy asked, do you recommend using Rewind and Hylamide sub-Q together? Yes, yeah, the reason I like that is because the sub-Q again has that glucuronic acid we talked about, which is the other precursor for hyaluronic acid, where the Stratia Rewind has the N-acetylglucosamine. So you get your two building blocks for HA that way, and then of course the Rewind has niacinamide and DMA and panthenol, and then the sub-Q skin has some other nice ingredients. So you really just get a nice mix there. As far as I think you asked about, they should both be fine with vitamin C and pH-dependent actives, because the sub-Q skin has a copper salt. This is very different than a copper, the GHK-CU or copper tripeptide 1, which is not a salt. Basically, the kind of concern, the reason people tell you not to use a first generation copper peptide with vitamin C is because you have copper here. And vitamin C is an antioxidant, as you guys know. But that means that they can kind of basically act on free metal ions like copper potentially and try to basically reduce them or like neutralize them. If you think about like free radicals and antioxidants, it's kind of a similar principle. So the concern is that the copper peptide or the vitamin C could come try to neutralize this copper peptide, and then it could become oxidized in the process. So you're not getting like the benefits of your ascorbic acid because it's pretty unstable. That's why you want to use this guy PM and the vitamin C in the morning. It shouldn't be an issue with a copper salt. I did kind of look up into like the chemistry behind that, and it seems to not be an issue. Oh, you're welcome, Heidi, of course. I love talking about this stuff, so it's no problem. What about the IQ Natural wrinkle? Okay, in comparison to the sub-Q. So that one's a little bit different because you have 30% arginine, and then you have 30% Matrixyl 3000, which, by the way, you probably don't want to use with vitamin C because Matrixyl 3000 uses something very similar to the copper tripeptide 1. It uses what's called PAL and GHK, which is basically, instead of using like the little chain of amino acids connected to the copper, it's that chain of amino acids attached to like a fatty acid, basically. So they do suggest that you probably not combine that one with copper peptide, or with, I'm so tired, you guys. I'm so sorry. I woke up at like 2 in the morning, and I was up for like 3 hours. It totally messed up my sleep. I did get some work done, which is what I tend to do when I wake up, and it's a really bad habit because then it just messes me up. I have awful sleeping habits. Okay, so the idea here is that GHK, right? So you have GHK and you have copper. That's what's in here, right? GHK is that chain of amino acids, and you'll see the GHK like by itself in products or with the copper, like in this guy, right? Even if you use the GHK by itself, which is, I think it's just, it's usually just called tripeptide 1 instead of copper tripeptide 1. Even if it's by itself, it will bind and attract copper. So if you use it by itself, you apply it on the skin, you have copper naturally in your skin or in your body, it's gonna bind that copper because it's a copper binding peptide. So that's why you don't want to use anything like that with a vitamin C, because it's gonna form that complex and you're gonna basically have copper tripeptide 1. Hopefully that makes sense. I feel like I didn't explain that well at all because my brain is a little bit tired. So you wouldn't want to use the IQ Natural with the Matrixyl 3000 with a vitamin C. As far as comparing the two, they're a little bit different. You know, I would say if you want a peptide product, the IQ Natural is a really good one because my son's rats. It's a good one because you have two of the more proven peptides, the Matrixyl 3000 and the argireline. So those guys are a little bit more proven. Yeah, there's like so many peptides on the market, right? Like they're in everything, and a lot of them aren't super proven, or we don't have evidence that they even get into the skin. So when someone asks, how long are you gonna drink water, you little rat? My son has a little, actual rat. My son has like a little gray rat that is drinking water for a million years here. Are you done? You're just gonna save all your water for right now. So because there's so many peptides on the market, and there's not a lot of research. Most of the research, again, is going to be manufacturer funded. A lot of them don't actually look at whether something is getting into the skin. Peptides are great little humectants. So when we look at like the anti-aging type research, they'll apply a peptide. They'll be like, look, the wrinkle depth around the eyes was reduced. But the problem is if you're just looking at something like that visually, or you're just measuring the wrinkle depth versus like doing an actual biopsy, is that could just be from hydration kind of plumping the skin up. So a lot of the research on peptides isn't great. It isn't really well constructed, or there's potential bias, etc. So when someone tells me that they're interested in peptides, I suggest getting some of the more proven ones, like the ones in the IQ Natural Serum, and just seeing if you like it. I will say that the sub-Q skin is a little bit more well-rounded, because you have a lot of different humectants in there. But the IQ Natural is really affordable, and you do have some nice, you have aloe and you have glycerin, so I would say the IQ Natural is simpler, but it's going to be more affordable. So they're both good kind of products, and it depends what you're looking for, if that makes sense. Okay, what's the difference between the green bottle versus the gold? Just concentration with the Bradceuticals. So this guy is the gold. It has a 60%. The teal bottle is 30%. And I used the teal one for years before they released the gold, and I still got great results. So it's fine to start there if you're on a budget, or if you just want to see if you like it too. The only one I could get on Bifida were two. Oh yeah, because they did a restock at one point, but that was kind of more of a surprise restock. They're honestly both good. I do like the higher concentration of this guy, but I used the teal for almost 2 years before they released the gold, and I still got great results, and I've still used it recently. Oh yeah, of course you guys, no problem. What about mixing copper generation 1 and Matrixyl? I need more water, you guys. I feel like my brain melts at a certain point. Okay, sorry, let me try this again. What about mixing the copper generation 1 with, I'm assuming you mean like the Matrixyl Synth 6. Those are totally fine together. It's just the ascorbic acid that you want to be careful with copper binding peptides, which is only the one of the peptides in the Matrixyl 3000 and the like actual copper peptide. Hi Kimberly, welcome. She said, is the Matrixyl copper issue only with ascorbic acid, or yeah, it's only with ascorbic acid. The reason for that is just because it's kind of unstable. So the concern is that it'll become oxidized by trying to reduce, these copper binding peptides, or the copper specifically. The derivatives are more stable, so it's not an issue. And they're also not really acidic either, so that's another factor. Okay, deep breath. I feel like I start to get like tired and frantic, and then my brain is like, and like my mouth can't keep up. Okay, let me see what else here. So I think I've only got a couple more little things here, and then if you guys want, we can play around with this guy, or we can talk about the valve. Oh, I have a couple questions to answer. I have to remember that too. Okay, so the only other ones, let me see, I think it's just these guys. We did oh, okay. I used up the Mieux hyaluronic acid serum. I think the 4 ounces for pros. You can get the regular size. Anyone can get the regular size. So I used this guy up. This is a nice hyaluronic acid. It's funny, I didn't actually think I would like this, just because I'm very much the type where I'm not gonna get a dedicated HA serum, if that makes sense. Just because HA gets a lot of hype, and you get a lot of like people telling you to buy an HA serum. But it's just a humectant. It doesn't have a lot of other added benefits. And I also find that it works best in combination with other humectants. Like, I like to look for a product that has, you know, hyaluronic acid with other great humectants like glycerin, sodium PCA, amino acids, peptides, urea. I just find it's going to work much better that way. But then also, I like to see barrier-focused ingredients like niacinamide and acetylglucosamine, panthenol, allantoin, ceramides, cholesterol, fatty acids, because these are going to really help the skin barrier retain moisture over time as well, and not just, you know, not just give you like the short-term benefit of just like an HA serum. So in my day-to-day routine, I don't like just HA. This doesn't just have HA, luckily. It has some other really nice humectants. All the Mieux products have a nice mix of beneficial ingredients. But I found myself reaching for this a lot because it's like a really soothing HA product. Like it's a gel serum texture. It's really hydrating. It just felt really soothing going on. I will say that I wondered if there was added fragrance in this. Like, it's nothing really strong, but I felt like there was like a slight like a fresh smell to it. It doesn't list any fragrance. Sometimes I feel like that with the Mieux products, where I'm like, is there fragrance in this? But they never list any, so it's a little bit odd. There's some nice plant extracts in here. It's a nice HA. I would say if you want to try a Mieux product, this is a nice one. I also like their moisturizers. I love the sheer hydration. I love the age-defying 24-hour cream. We already talked about the isocell, which I practically bathe in. I don't think you necessarily need to spend this much for a good hydrator. There's so many out there, but I did like it. I probably won't repurchase though, just because I have so many affordable hydrating products that I really enjoy. Okay, 2 more and then we are done. I was really excited, you guys, because I was looking through my empties and I realized that I have a full bottle of the A-Game from Geek Gorgeous. I thought I used them all up, so I am super excited about this because I love this product. So I used this guy up. I also used up another bottle, so that means I am on bottle number 3 of the retinaldehyde from Geek Gorgeous. Yeah, it's a fresh. Let me see. Hold on. Let me try. It's a fresh bottle, so I have to pump it a couple times, but I'll show you guys. Whoa, it's blasting everywhere. Okay. This is a retinaldehyde, which before now you had to spend a lot to get a decent one. So you can see it has that bright yellow color that's typical of retinal and retinol. It's like a really light moisturizer texture, like a cream serum. This is so good. You know, again, in general, like, you have to spend a lot to get a good retinol product. Like, not retinal, but retinol. So my favorite is the Obagi medical one, for example. It's really moisturizing, it's really effective, but it's not as irritating as like the Paula's Choice for me or some of the other ones. Where typically the only other 1% retinol that I found at an affordable price point is like the Ordinary. The problem with that one is it's just not a stable formula. It's in a dropper bottle. There's just not, you really need to formulate retinol so it really gets into the skin and it stays stable. I also found that the oil made it not as effective. So until this guy, there wasn't really many affordable retinoid products that were over the counter. I do like normally I would recommend like the Aven one because it was one of the few options with retinol that didn't have essential oils. I do like the Florence one I talked about. That's a pretty decent priced one if you live in the UK. So I found this. So I like the 0.1, which is the stronger option. They do have a 0.05 if you want to start out with that. Great product. I would say this is almost as good as my Obagi retinol, OL at the end. Almost as good as the Obagi, maybe not quite, but it's hands down the best retinaldehyde product that I've tried hands down. I prefer this to the Osmosis. I prefer this to really any of the pricier retinaldehyde products that I've found, and I think it works out to like 18 bucks. Such a good product. So I was really stoked to be digging through. I think I probably tossed it in there thinking it was an empty. So I'm starting my 3rd bottle and I'm excited to have that. I do use Tret, but I kind of alternate depending on what else I'm using. Oh, just kidding. I have the Osmosis Rescue that I used up. The only downside I don't like about Osmosis products, all my freaking caps break. If you guys can maybe let me know in the comments if you have an Osmosis product, let me know if your caps have cracked, because every Osmosis product I have has a cracked cap. And obviously I drop my products all the time, as you guys can see on every live, but nothing else that I've dropped has ever cracked immediately. So that's kind of a bummer, just because they're so pricey. But aside from that, as far as what actually matters is the product. This is the advanced formulation of the Rescue. I don't think there's anything left in here. Okay, I got a tiny little drop. So this is the Rescue Advanced Formula. So this uses the ozonized ethyl oleate. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Ozonized oils are really nice. They have independent research showing that they are wound healing, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory. So if you have compromised skin, this is awesome. I use this as a rescue product. I think the name is really fitting because you don't need to use this every day, and I would actually be a little bit concerned about using an oxidizing product daily. But if for like irritation, if your skin is recovering from treatments, this is amazing, and it's really cosmetically elegant. I do have the Ozone Factory ozonized oils. If you need a budget option, those are amazing. But this is going to be a little bit more cosmetically elegant. So either way you go, if you have like, also I think if you have like rosacea or kind of sensitive, or acne, or kind of like sensitized skin, great. Again, you don't have to use it daily, so this lasted me a really long time. I just used it when my skin was irritated, especially on the neck area. This was awesome. I have a very sensitive neck. I used it like when my skin was healing from microneedling, stuff like that. Really great product. But again, you can get the regular ozonized oil, like an ozonized hemp seed oil is really great. Ozonized sunflower, that is great too. Okay, I saw a couple comments, but this is my very last one, so I'm gonna quickly answer really quick. So I used up this full jar of the Sauna soy milk anti-wrinkle cream so quickly. I do already have a new one here, so I can actually show you guys the texture. See, this is a fresh, oh no, I hate the freaking light here. There we go. Okay, I can kind of block the light. This is a fresh one. This is so freaking good. It's a Japanese product. You can get it on Yes Style. Sometimes it's on Amazon. I'll link it if it is on Amazon right now. So good. It's like a really rich, if you can kind of see here, it's technically a gel cream, but it's like really rich. So it's not your typical gel cream. I use this like a sleeping mask almost, where I just like lather it on my face. It's not greasy, really moisturizing, really locks in moisture. You have squalene in here, ceramides. You have different forms of soybean, which is great for mature skin because they can kind of help with moisture in estrogen deficient skin. There's some research on like genistein, for example. Just a really great nighttime product for winter especially. But it's not like, like the Allantoin balm that I've been liking from Dermatory, great product, but it's gonna be like heavy and greasy because it's a balm. This isn't like that. So I already repurchased this, awesome product. And that wraps up my empties for now, I think. So I'll catch up on questions. Okay, so Monica said I'm on bottle 2 of the retinal. Awesome, still like the Medicate, and have that once a week. Then ordered the Florence retinol on a whim and waiting for them. Oh yeah, so yeah, they're all great. I will say this one is just so expensive and so effective. I like comparing this guy, the A-Game, to the Florence retinol oil. That one is a lower concentration, so it's better if you're really sensitive, and it's also an oil, so it's better if you're dry. And there's some nice oils in there too that are really great for the skin barrier. So if you're sensitive or dry, I would get the Florence. This is really nice too. I'm glad you're liking it as well. I just think it's such a steal for a retinaldehyde product. I keep my Osmosis products in their boxes, so no cracked caps. Yeah, that's true. I tend to just really use the heck out of my products, so I wouldn't want to fuss with keeping them in a box. God, I gotta do something about this hair. But yeah, if you're keeping them in their boxes though, that sounds like you've cracked them before. I feel like that's not just me. Okay, so a question. Okay, sorry you guys. So there was a couple questions that were asked in the group. But you guys, of course, are welcome to keep asking them here too. So I'll do that really quickly, and then if we're not all totally over it, I can test out this guy on for the first time. You guys let me know what you guys want to do. It's totally up to you. I feel like I'm gonna I wish I could take a nap. That's what I will say. It's not gonna happen because I have work to do and I have to pick up my son. But some days I'm like, because I am a napper, I just never have time to nap. Some people aren't nappers. I am when I can, which is rare. Okay, so I'll answer the couple questions and then we can decide if we want to test out the PDRN applicator. I also have the Valve. I guess I could, I hate standing up during a live. It's 6 feet away on the charger. I could talk about it really quick because I think there was a question. Okay, so Natalie from the Facebook group asked, I asked if you guys had some questions for me to answer at the end of this live. She said, procedures that are done in a med spa that you think are worth paying for. So for that question, the answer for me is always going to be injectables. So I started my skincare journey almost 7 years ago. My son is turning 7 on the 14th, and I started getting into skincare kind of at the end of my pregnancy. I was just noticing a lot of changes in my skin, and as a California girl, I had never worn sunscreen. I used to be like a party girl before I had my son, and really, you know, settled down, obviously. So I noticed like my skin was aging really quickly, and I was only in my early 20s. So I started to, I got into K-beauty, I started using tretinoin. But I immediately, like a couple of years, well not immediately, but a couple of years in, I noticed that there were some things that just skincare can't do. The big one is going to be dynamic wrinkles, right? Dynamic wrinkles are different from static wrinkles. Static wrinkles are present when your face is at rest. Dynamic wrinkles are results of repeat muscle contractions. So like in the forehead, for example, I haven't gotten Botox for a while, so I have a little bit of movement, which I don't normally. You can see like in this area, in the glabella area, crow's feet, for example. So because those are not a skin issue, right? They're due to those repetitive. Why can't I hate that. That's like the one thing that drives me crazy is when I stutter or I can't talk properly. Some people are so well spoken on their lives. Like Stacy from Gorgeously A-Game, she's awesome. Check her out. She lost her channel, so if you're into like DIY beauty treatments, check out Stacy at Gorgeously A-Game. But she's like so well spoken. Meanwhile, I'm over here like can't get my words out. Botox is one thing that I do think is worthwhile. Does everyone need Botox or want Botox? No, right? It's not for me to tell you guys to go get that. I just want to stress that. But if dynamic wrinkles are a concern, I think that Botox is 100% worth it. There's just nothing at home that's going to truly correct that. There's really not very much of anything else really. You know, there's not much else that you can do aside from Botox as well. You can do like lengthening movements with your MyLF Mini, or you can do like the silicone patches. Those are really like temporary methods, and they're not gonna fully correct the issue. So for me, Botox is worth it. It's also really addictive, you guys, because even if it just smooths out the whole forehead area. Like it's not just that it helped with the again I used tretinoin, I was microneedling, I was doing all these things at home, and it just wasn't going to touch those dynamic wrinkles. I did have some static wrinkles left even after I had Botox, which the microneedling with Bradceuticals ended up helping correct those. But it's just like you get this like super smooth forehead, so it's a little bit addictive, and it also can help you. Like I don't have any natural brow arch at all, right? I'm due for a touch-up. I haven't gotten Botox in quite a while, so this is still better, way better arch than normal. I normally have no brow arch at all. If anything, the arch is like at the center, like more toward the center of my brow. So Botox gave me a decent brow arch for one. And when I initially get it and it kicks in, like my brows look amazing. And it can help kind of lift the brow area, kind of open up the eyes, smooth out the forehead. I've gotten like the lip flip. I get a lot of like tension in my jaw area. Like I have a really strong masseter muscle, and I clench a lot from stress. So it's actually helped me when I've gotten the masseter area done. It's actually helped me a lot with headaches. Again, it's a personal thing. Like I don't want anyone to feel like they need to get Botox. But I 100% think that it's worth it. What else here? And also I've talked about what I've gotten extensively done in past lives and in the Facebook group, because I think it's really important to also disclose that if I'm talking about devices and treatments. Like I would never want someone to think that I have a smooth forehead because of, any of the products here. The other thing I think is really worth it is filler done with the right person and done correctly. After I had my son, I had really deep like teardrop deformity. Like I had really indented under eye. I also just didn't recognize my face. Like I had a lot of volume loss because I was really skinny, you guys, before I had a baby. I think I was like 105 pounds before I got pregnant. Like I was skinny. But when I delivered my son, the day I delivered, before the delivery, I was like 205 pounds with the baby. So I lost a lot, you know, I was really thin, and then I gained a lot of weight, and then I lost it again. So that had a really big impact on my face. And maybe I'll post some before and afters in the Facebook group because I had zero cheek. And I had a lot of hollowing underneath the eyes, and I just looked tired all the time. So I saw a nurse practitioner here in my area at Destination Aesthetics who is amazing. Her name is Shauna. She's a nurse practitioner. She owns like 6 med spas. She trains other injectors. I think she's a trainer for like Galderma and some of those manufacturers, so she knows a lot of advanced techniques. She's amazing. I think that's number one with any kind of injector. But no, again, no treatment or topical product is going to add volume back to your face. And a scaled injector isn't going to just add volume, right? They're actually going to support your anatomy and provide like a nice lift. And so I haven't gotten cheek filler in like 2 years, but it's, and same goes for the under eye, but it's still there and still making like a really big difference in my face. So those are the main two. For some people it can be stuff like laser and stuff. For me, because I do peels and microneedling at home, and I was able to kind of intervene early enough, those aren't personally necessary for me. So that's why I always say just kind of say injectables. I'd go back and forth on threads though, you guys. I don't love threads. I know some people love them. They can be great for actually like, you know, adding some like structure. I think that especially in the DUI community, there can be some major safety issues there. But even in the medical field, like there's a lot of issues that come up. There's a lot of doctors that I respect in the field who are very against threads. I think like when you have, like if you have the barbed threads, like normally if you get, like if you undergo surgery, right, you have a facelift, they're gonna lift, right, but then they're gonna actually cut away that excess skin. Where with like a barbed thread, there's nowhere for that skin to go. And I think a lot of times the results are from like swelling and stuff, and then as soon as the threads are gone, then the results are gone. So if they weren't so expensive, it would be a little bit more worth it. Typically though, if someone asks me about threads, I'm like, put that money toward actual surgery if that's something you really want versus the threads. But I just think there's not enough research on safety there. That's kind of my issue. Sorry, let me catch up here. Thinking of starting my chemical peel. My first one was salicylic acid, 20%. Is that a good place to start? It depends on your skin concerns, right? Like if you're focused on anti-aging, acne, congestion, I tend to like glycolic acid for a starter peel for someone focused on anti-aging, hyperpigmentation, or even acne scars, just because it's highly proven. Like there's a lot of data there. It's also really versatile though, because you can easily dilute it. You can also reduce the time left on the skin because it's a peel that is neutralized. So you could water it down. Like if you get a 40% bottle, water it down to 10%, leave it on your skin for a minute or two. It's gonna be very safe, and you can work your way up. And you're gonna get a lot out of one bottle because you can work your way up in the time and in the concentration versus having to buy like 10 different products, right? Salicylic acid can be fine. I'd probably start with a 10% just because you can layer it. My general kind of approach to peels that are self-neutralizing and that you can layer is better to do the lower strength and increase the layers and get a more even, safer peel than versus going straight to the stronger one. You can't really, so salicylic acid is oil soluble, so usually you'll see it you know, it's usually, you'll usually see it dissolved in like propendile and stuff like that. So unless you have that, you're not going to really be able to dilute it. So that's why I would suggest glycolic acid. You can because it's water-based. So I would probably get a 10% instead if you really want salicylic acid. Again, it depends on your concerns. People losing their channels. Yeah. I feel really bad in Stacy's case, just because she's, I mean, again, I'm not in the DIY community really. I do microneedling and peels and stuff, but I'm pretty conservative. You know, I've done like tox facials on my Biome coffee and stuff. But, you know, I don't count myself like in the DIY community, but she's just so, one, she's so sweet. Like, she's such a lovely person, and you can just tell from her YouTube and my like just small, that's a loud train, small interactions with her. But she's so focused on education and safety. Like, she's such a positive influence on the DIY community that it's crazy to me that she lost her channel. And she's definitely someone I think that is worth supporting if you are interested in DIY treatments and stuff. Botox, yeah, Botox is, once you've had Botox, again, not for, I don't want anyone to feel like they need it, but once you've had it, it's addictive. I don't have a brow urge naturally either. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I think that's the other thing too, is a lot of people don't realize how much Botox can like open up your eyes and help with your brows, or even do like the lip flip, smooth out your skin. It can even help reduce like pore size a little bit. So it's it does so much more than I think a lot of people realize. Isn't it better to do fat grafting by a surgeon in the hollows of the eyes instead of filler? It really depends. Yeah, no, it's not one and done either. Usually fat transfer, I think, lasts like 6 months. It will take time. I do think it's supposed to have better longevity, but usually you're not done in a single treatment according to my injector and other people I've talked to. It really depends on your needs. You know, sometimes if you're trying to add structure in the face, you know, you're probably going to want some of the firmer fillers. You know, where if you just want to add volume back, that can be helpful. You can, the fat transfer can be helpful as well. It just really depends on your injector, what you're trying to correct, what your budget is, what your goals are, etc. And then, how do you dilute it? Yeah, so if it's, so thank you for the chemical peel answer. How do you dilute a percentage with water? Yes, if it's an AHA, it's a glycolic acid, it's a lactic acid, and the base is water, right? It's like glycolic acid and water. You can dilute it. So 50% peel, 50% water. If it's like a salicylic acid though, that hasn't been dissolved in water because it's oil soluble, you can't dilute with water. I do recommend using distilled water when possible, and I do recommend diluting just what you're going to use for that day. Don't dilute and save it, basically. Okay, I think there was a couple more questions, and if we have time, we'll try out this product. Oops. Why are my son's rats are so noisy today. Okay, so Stephanie said skincare for kids. Okay, I need to do a holiday gift guide, you guys, like yesterday. I meant to do it at the beginning of this month, and I've just been super busy and exhausted. My son's birthday is also coming up. So I'm gonna do a holiday gift guide. If I can't do a video, I'll do it on the blog. It really depends on the age range of the kids. I'm a big fan of the CeraVe baby line. I like the Pipette stuff. Like they have a squalene balm and an oil, as well as a mineral sunscreen. I also like, so CeraVe baby, Pipette. I also like the Isehan. So it's a Japanese brand, is ISEHAN. I will link it afterwards. They have their mommy line, which is great for sunscreen for kids and for sensitive skin or adults. They're great products. But I will do a holiday gift guide because there's no way that I could cover that just in this live. But I will get my button gear and get that done. Okay. Paulina said tips for product application. Do we need to wait for a layer to set, or can we go over with no waiting times? Tips for applying makeup over skincare. Empties will be great. Okay, cool. So we did empties, and I think Paulina said hi earlier. Okay, so there's a lot of back and forth on layering, right? When I first got into K-beauty, it was ridiculous, you guys. You would have people saying to use vitamin C, BHA, and AHA in one routine, but you needed to cleanse your face, wait 20 minutes, and then you needed to apply your vitamin C, and then you need to wait 20 minutes, and then apply your BHA, and then wait 20 minutes, and then do your AHA, and then wait 20 minutes, and then sometimes they would have you do a pH adjusting toner in there, and you needed to wait 20 minutes for that. It was ridiculous, you guys. And what I kind of realized is that waiting was just letting my skin lose all this moisture from the skin. Like if you cleanse your skin and you let it sit without any product, you're losing moisture. You're getting transepidermal water loss, TEWL. There we go. Need more coffee. So that was actually more detrimental for my dry skin than anything. The other thing is there's no evidence that you need that. Products aren't formulated with the intention of people waiting, or they would tell you that. Again, there's just no evidence that waiting is necessary. And then for water-based products, right? Like I never talked about the Ryan EGF. I've talked about it before. If you guys really want me to talk about it, this is the only product that I used up that I didn't mention. If you want me to talk about it, I can. This is like a water-based product, right? If you apply this and then just wait 20 minutes and let it dry in, you're losing a lot of benefits of the humectants in these products, right? The humectants bind and attract moisture to the skin. So, but if they're not locked in with an occlusive moisturizer, then they're attracting moisture that's then evaporating from the skin surface, and you're kind of canceling out the effects. Also, if your skin is damp when you apply other additional humectants, you're giving them more moisture to attract. The other thing is that when skin is hydrated, it's going to be a little bit more permeable.